man. You already know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. And we're back with another interview, man. I got my guy, no other than Dirty Weather 916 in the house tonight. Glad to have him back on. He's got a whole lot going on, a whole lot to share. And tonight we're going to dig a little deeper than we've ever dug before. We've done these interviews in the past, but I don't think we've done no justice, man. I don't think we really got into what we needed to get into. And that's what we're gonna do tonight. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody that don't know who you are real quick.
Everybody that don't know me, my name is Dirty Weather 916. I've been in these YouTube streets for a very long time, and lately I had to make some big moves, and I decided to pull up on Jay Williams, none other. This is my guy.
I gotta know, man. Something I should have been asked you. Aside from YouTube, Dirt is also my dude off of YouTube. He's not just somebody I talk to with YouTube. Like we talk outside of YouTube. We got a friendship outside of YouTube. Where did the name Dirty Weather 916 come from? How did you get that name?
I'm gonna say that the 916 came later, but Dirty Weather was my rap name in 2014. Like when I first came home, and like a lot of people when they be in prison, they got this dream that they're gonna be the next rapper, the hardest rapper since Pac and whoever. Like that's just something that a natural transition of prison rappers. So when I came home, my name was Kurt Luminous, and I recorded no songs under that name, but I realized that it really didn't really speak to what I was trying to get to, what described my personality. And so then I came with Dirty Weather. Like my name already dirty, so then add the weather.
And what's the 916?
916 is Sacramento, California. That's where I'm from. Sacramento, like if you ain't been to the pen, a lot of people stay true to their neighborhood. Like that's all they know is their neighborhood. They might integrate a little bit, but that's all they know. But what happens is when you go to the pen, all that this hood, that go out the window. Like we all one car and we all riding together. Because if these Mexicans decide they want to get at us, they gonna get at us. And even if we enemies on the streets, you got to have my back, or you gonna pay consequences and repercussions.
So is it other dudes I would run into that would have 916 attached to them? Because I know, shout out to the homie Nate Dogg 916.
Shout out Nate Dogg.
So you're gonna run into a couple different dudes that's gonna have 916 at the end of their name.
916 is the area code. That's the car. We had to stop thinking about we thought about Del Paso Heights, and you got people from Oak Park and Meadowview, but we was all thinking as a whole. So 916 as a whole. And that was my upbringing because of how long I did in the pen. Like that was my thinking. So when I came home, all I could think was I got homies from this hood, this hood, this hood, and this hood, and that love me. But they hoods don't get along, but I still gotta be able to be me, and I still fuck with the people that fuck with me. So I had to come with thinking 916 like instead of more like my hood, I had to think of Sacramento as a whole. Because Sacramento is very small for a person like me.
Born and raised in Sacramento?
Born and raised. I've lived other places, but for the most part, born and raised, and I didn't live in every part of Sacramento.
How would you describe growing up in Sacramento? What's Sacramento like for people that don't know?
Del Paso Heights, I could say that my family, first and foremost, is like my family traced back generations in this neighborhood. Like my dad has worked in this neighborhood his whole life, and he's still in the neighborhood. I got family all the way up the street that I'm on, just every street you could turn on, and I'm going to have a family member somewhere on these streets. Auntie, cousins.
Not to cut you off, that should remind me of that Kendrick Lamar song. You know, it's like, where your auntie from, where your cousin from, where your mama stay at, where your daddy stay at.
Yeah, that's why.
Those type of relationships where you got families spread out through Sacramento, dug in.
Yeah.
Lower class, middle class, what would you consider it?
There's parts of Del Paso Heights that could be considered middle, but they're tucked off parts. Like, so for the most part, Del Paso Heights is the hood. It's the hood. Like I live on the, I don't say where I live, but I live where it's going on in my neighborhood.
How was your childhood, man? Mother and father, what they do for a living? Do you have both your parents?
Fortunately for me, like I love my dad, but my dad, my mom ran him off when I was like 3 years old.
She ran him off. What do you mean?
Like ran him off. Like wasn't agreeing with his conduct. wasn't agreeing with his conduct, and gave him the boot.
So he chose the other life instead of y'all, and your mom wasn't having it.
Nah, I don't think he had a choice in the matter because it was get gone, and
What you
then
mean you
from
have a
there,
choice? We kind of all, I think, to an extent, we all kind of got a choice, man. He could have, if your mom ran him off, that means he was doing things he should have been doing, correct?
true story, true
And he's got a
story.
family at home, so it's like you can get with this or you can get with that.
Yeah,
And
but
he
he had
wasn't.
another family too, though, and that kind of was the issue.
Oh, that's a big
So
issue. That's a big, big issue. Your mom can't just hard to accept a whole nother family and another woman.
yeah, and they wasn't seeing eye to eye, so it was a sticky situation.
Just you and your mom.
Me, my mom's, and my sister, and I got a little brother that was born a little later. But for the most part, once pops was gone, it was me and sis to the neck.
You a good kid or a bad kid, man? Who was a little dirty?
There was something wrong with me. By the age of, like, the first time I did something where it seemed like I was going the wrong way. Like in my little second grade class, like they had a thing of marbles. Like if every student came for attendance, they put one marble in the bowl, and then when all the marbles is gone, then we having a pizza party. But I was the king of marbles at my school, so I got a little low. I needed some more marbles, so I actually sat my second grade ass, plotted the lick out, grabbed the pencils. You know, it was elementary, so they got two doors. The
Hmm.
back door though, I opened the door, put a pencil in there, and then when everybody went to lunch, I doubled back and filled my pockets with marbles. Next to you know, the person, my accomplice that was with me, he told on me. The teachers came to my house and told us, he told on you, we know what you did. If you give us the marbles back, we ain't tripping. Shit, I gave them marbles back hella fast.
You continue to be
But I
friends with
was,
old boy.
yeah, to a certain point, all good things came to an end. And he had did some shit that was just too much. Like that was the first time I went to juvenile hall,
The-
fucking with that guy.
Let's get into that, man. Your first lockup. How was that? How old were you?
9 years old.
9. You ain't even got hair on your balls yet, and you're in there with the big dogs.
9 years old. E
What was that?
unit.
What was
Kiefer.
that? What was that trip about?
I ended up going to hospitals and shit.
Hmm.
Like before the age of 9, I had been in like 6 hospitals. It seemed like my mom couldn't control me because I'm coming home from school, first grade, second grade, and leaving my backpack on the porch, and I'm out until it's
So
dark.
you're saying hospitals like mental hospitals, not like you got
Mental hospitals,
not a health condition. You've been into like psychs.
psych ward. They had the kids, the primary and the adolescents.
What is going on with you, man? That has got you? You're a kid. You're supposed to be riding bicycles and playing backyard football. What's got you going on that you're
I
going to
was,
psych hospitals as a kid?
I don't know, man. I was rebelling. I'm telling you, I was rebelling. I was stealing from my mom. I wasn't coming home. I was running away, doing stuff that I to this day can't explain.
Think
My
they called
whole
for the psych ward, or you think your mom maybe might just doing too much, Dirt?
No, I think that I was doing too much and she felt she couldn't control me. And there were probably people in her ear saying, you need to do something because the stuff he's doing is not normal.
Mm.
He's not normal. Man, my homeboy, I wanted to go fishing with my homeboy so bad that I planned I ran away early in the morning, ran away to his house with my
How old
fishing.
are you?
I'm like at 7, 8 years old.
Hmm.
I run away with my fishing pole, and they ain't even going fishing that day. It ain't even. It's the wrong weekend. But now I didn't ran away. I don't want to go back home. So they say, look, we gonna have to call the police so they can figure out what to do for you because we not going fishing, and you ain't telling us the correct story about what your mom says. So they call the police. They ride me to my house, but not my house. I picked a different house and told them that's where I lived because I didn't see nobody there. So nobody answered. So they got this thing called the Sacramento Receiving Home. Sacramento Receiving Home on Watt Avenue in Sacramento, and that would be what would be considered my first placement, like my first type of institutional setting away from home, other than the hospitals. Like the hospitals is to help you, Like the receiving home is for transitional kids. And because I ran away from home and I gave them the wrong address, they locking me. They put me in the kids'
You
home.
know where to take you.
They had nowhere to take me, and that was the first time I went back with my dad.
Why didn't you want to go home?
I wanted to do what I wanted to do at a young age.
Was your mom physical? Was it hostile in the house? Like, there's got to be a reason that at 7 years old you don't want to go home. There's got to be a reason. I mean, I know there's rules. I get that.
I believe every time my mom beat my ass, I had it coming.
I can feel that.
Every time. I remember like I had a stealing problem. I really used to super crawl on the side of her bed, grab her purse, and open it up and take notes about that thing.
Oh no, that's an
Or,
asshole.
or she had a collection of $2 bills. I used to be plucking it. So then one time I go to the gas station to spend my little dollar bill, and they start giving me hella change. They gave me so much money back, I got spooked. I wasn't used to this. I was so spooked. I went to school and was handing out money. They was like, "Hey man, that kid got money." And so people was just kids was coming up to me, "Hey, you got money? Can I have some?" Because I was giving it away because I was so scared because I didn't understand why I stole $100 bill from my mom. And when I got home, I'm telling you, I heard the belt going ding ling ling ling. You know when the belt whip ding ling, you hear it. You know it's coming anyway. Actually, normally she wouldn't beat me for it. She wouldn't beat me up for $1, but this is $100 bill. This is different. So that motherfucker, she ain't even give me a chance to get settled in. Man, look, she came in swinging that thing, that belt. I ran up under the bed, right? You know how you just feel something just missing, like you was under something and you were safe, but then all of a sudden you look up and you can see the ceiling of the roof that you in. Like the bed was gone.
She
She like
hulked up.
one armed the bed up off of me and toe into me to the where my stepdad at the time he had to come in and UFC stop it. Like that's enough. He's had it. He's done. I never stole from my mama again. No, that was it. I
So
stole
how
from
do
my
you
I stole from my grandma, and my grandma set me up and whooped me. And I stole from my mama, and she went poltergeist on me, and that was all it took.
so how'd you end up in the detention home at 9?
So that same friend where they called the police and sent me back home. I mean,
The
sent me in the
Marvel the
police car.
Marvel friend.
Yes, the same friend. My mom had these matches, and I can't say I was necessarily a firebug, but I will say that learning how to shoot them, if you put them on the thing and flick them, you can shoot flames. And so as kids, we got clubhouses in the field. I don't know if y'all got them where you from, but we had little clubhouses in the field that was really just like a hole, a big deep hole in the dirt. And that was our other house.
Throw a board over top of it.
Yeah, that was the house. That was the clubhouse. So next thing we get to shooting them flames. And it seemed like a gust of wind. At the same time, it took his flame and it took my flame. And that shit roared up. Whoa. It's to the point where he took his shirt off. We trying to put this fire out. It's just not. It ain't working. It ain't working. So we start running. My partner running his house, and I'm running to my house. But they had already flagged the car down. That's walking on. He driving on the side of me in slow motion as I'm running. I'm running as fast as my little legs can carry me, but he just coasted. Like, where are you going? What are you doing? Where are you going? I'm like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. So I get to the house. I go in the house, close the door. I'm peeking out the curtain like, ooh. Oh, actually, there wasn't nothing there at first. But a little bit later, probably about like 10 minutes later, I looked out. It seemed like all the Sacramento PD was in front of my house.
Mm.
And they came and got me. You remember Boys in the Hood with the ooh, child things. I'm telling you, for a little kid, 9 years old, I didn't know what the fuck I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, shit, it is what it is. It was some young gangsters up in there too, like some real live gang members. So that was like the first. Well, I think I was kind of blind to gang banging at 9 years old, to be honest with you. So it was like I had a bunch of big brothers, and I didn't know where the hell they was from. I just know that they had love for me because I was a little kid.
You say you was blind, but you grew up in Cali, like
Yep.
a place that's notorious for gangbanging. How can you be blind to gangbanging when it's all around you?
Because my innocence was still intact until I went to juvenile, started going to juvenile hall. My innocence was still intact. Like Colors, the movie Colors, that was I'm 5. We like me and my partner 7, 8 years old talking about we're gonna be a blood today. We're gonna be a crib today. We're gonna be a blood today. Like we 7, 8 years old. We don't know what it is. But come Boys in the Hood, then it was choices and decisions to be made in life. And so when you see or hear about people directly impacted by Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society, that it was my era entirely.
So when did you really? Because it sounds like at 9 you kind of were just you was experimenting, playing with fire. How long would it be before you found yourself locked back up in the detention center?
I stayed in juvenile hall right for about 3 months until finally me and my lawyer we had social workers. With my social worker, we had an agreement. Like once I get home, nigga, she gonna give me a candy bar. So all I could think about as my 9 year old self is when I get free, I'm gonna get this candy bar. And so when the time came, and I thought they was gonna let me out, the DA is this dude in a wheelchair. He's paralyzed. If people from Sacramento may know this dude. This dude can't move nothing but his chin. So he come in the courtroom. This motherfucker said he wanted me locked up until I was 18 years old because he felt I was going to be responsible for many people being killed. They said I displayed the traits of basically an arsonist. This motherfucker really was pushing this hard on me, and my social worker, she broke down. Like them moments in the movies where it gets dramatic. She slammed her hand down. Bah, he's just a child. I was like on cue, wasn't it? It was like he's just a child, man. And they all felt her because it was a room full of men. They was like, all right, we're gonna let him go to MAC. MAC is the Morgan. It turned to William Morgan Alternative Center. Basically, it was like a center with boys and girls all the way up to like 17 years old. But I'm 9 years old, and I'm telling you, I'm about to tell you something that you probably can't even wrap your mind around. But I'm the only person in the history of niggadom that tried to run away from MAC back to juvenile hall. I didn't even know where juvenile hall was. I just knew it was that way. And I sat there, I plotted my little escape because literally, if you run up the street and around the corner, you're in a neighborhood. So people had their folks waiting for them, and they hit the door. If you knew somebody on the back streets, you could hit the fence, and because the fence connects to that street's backyards. It's broad daylight, probably like 10, 11 in the morning. I hit the door, running as fast as my little legs can carry me. I promise I looked back and seen the staff in full stride. I didn't even make it that far. That motherfucker dove, tackled me, and threw me over his shoulder like a little kid with my little legs kicking. Threw me over and walked me back. And they sat down and talked to me. And even the other kids that was there talked to me like, what's wrong with you? Why would you run away back to juvenile hall? Do you even know where it was? I said, no, I just know it's that way.
You was really trying to go back to the detention center?
That's how much fun I was having. We swam with the girls. We had class with the girls. Like we had parties, pizza parties with popcorn parties with the girls. Like it was, and they all treated me like I was a. Some treated me like I was a son. Some treated me like I don't know. I think they thought I was adorable. And the group home come and get me, and I'm in group homes from the age of like 10 to like, well, it's easier if I do it by school. So I was in group homes from the 5th grade to the 6th grade. But I was so used to being away from home that I promise you, they had to trick me. I was used to go on passes at my mom's house and stuff, but they had to trick me to get me to go back home with my mom. Not that it was that bad, but I was basically making my own decisions, being an 11-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid in these group homes. And it's older kids that I'm learning from. And they picking on me and shit, but I'm learning from these older kids. So then finally about 13, I was done. I was done with the group homes. I was pretty much done with them. They literally kicked me out, sent me back to my mom. They was like, yeah. The second time I was at group homes, they both had to trick me home. And the last time, that I thought it was gonna be a regular pass, like a regular group home pass. I mean, regular weekend pass. Hell nah. I got home. They was like, when I got out the car, they was like, yeah, you know this for good, right? Yeah. We're gonna be bringing your stuff a little bit later because they knew I didn't. They knew I didn't want to. I didn't want to go. I was having girlfriends and stuff. Like I was really enveloped in this group home life, but that was the brainwashing of a child at a young age. You remember when I said my innocence was lost? That's why I was lost from being on my own in a sense. So when I came back home, I was a different boy, and I'm starting the ninth grade. So I'm in high school now, and I done been in juvenile hall 2 3 times. I done been in group homes, so now it's like, what can you tell me?
Hmm. You're the only person, man. And I've done a lot of interviews. You're the only person I've ever interviewed that wanted to stay, that didn't want to go home. Every single person I've ever talked to, including myself, man, I just wanted to go home. I just wanted to
Hmm.
go home. I was just a kid. I just wanted to go home.
Hmm.
And you're the one person out of everybody I've ever talked to that wanted to stay.
In my during that group home stint where I was running away, and one of the times I went back to juvenile hall was for assault and staff on a weird story. I'll tell that one another time. But there was a time I wanted to. I had ran away 3 days in a row from this group home, like 3 days, like for no reason, just running away. Dude, I had another white partner there named Josh. He was my partner in crime. So it's like every day that we ran away, we would stretch a little bit further, a little bit further. Now I don't know how to ride the bus in my town, in my city, because I'm only 11 years old. I don't know how to ride the bus, but we just stole the group home's allowance money. They had like a kitty box. We just stole the kitty box, everybody allowance, and did it moving. So I would jump on one bus, and I just asked the bus driver questions, like, well, "How do I get to here?" So she said, "Stay on this bus." And we, like I said earlier, this interview is gonna come equipped with the bells and whistles. So we ride the bus. Long story short, we get to my mom's house. Like I've been in these group homes for like months and months and months. My mom was on the phone. She opened the door. She was like, "I don't believe it," and I was sitting there literally. Then ran away from way across town and made it back home. She knew I couldn't stay. I knew I couldn't stay. We came up with the stupidest story. Can you picture this? Like we go to the ER. The goal is for him to say that he was getting abused at the group home, and I was too, and my back hurt. So we pull up to the ER. We literally is walking in the parking lot. She helping him like he can't breathe. He hyperventilating. I'm walking behind him with my hand on my back, like I could barely walk. They run him straight to the back of the ER, like he's having heart stuff. Take him straight to the back. I sit down at the chair. They come and talk to me, hand on my back. Man, look, the police showed up at the ER. We already knew what time it was. They knew what time it was. They took us back to that group home so fast. I got to see my mom, but she had to respect. She had to respect my movement from then. So when I say again, innocence lost, it's stunts like that at a young age that make you stronger than other people that would be in my weight class as far as age. Like
I get it.
I wasn't the average 12-year old,
I
the
get it.
average 13-year-old.
I tell people, man, when you start getting locked up at a young age, it kind of desensitizes you. It takes
Straight
away the
up.
fear that a lot of other kids have, like the fear of consequence of getting in trouble. Like, oh, we can't do that because we're gonna get in trouble. When you start getting locked up at a young age, all that fear goes out the window
Yeah.
because you know where you're going. You've been there before. So if
Yeah.
you want to do something, it's just like, man, I want to steal a car. I'm gonna steal a car. Well, they gonna lock you up. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care. They're gonna take me back. I don't care. I get it.
And the thing is, the progress was real. Like once I went to juvenile hall at that age, I mean, it was like I was coming to visit. It went from every 2 years to every year that I'm pulling up on juvenile hall.
Fast forward, you turn 18. How long is it after 18 before you see jail?
I didn't make it to 18. I was 17 when I got locked up.
And they classified you as an adult.
Tried me as an adult.
How much time you get on that?
18 years.
And you went away at 17 years old
17 years old.
for 18 years. You got to walk me through it. At 17 years old, what did you do that would make the Department of Corrections feel like they need to hold you for the next 18 years, man?
Man, there's a such thing as called. I think I like to take credit for it, but I call
That's
them.
excessive sentencing. That's a 17-year-old. And if a life wasn't taken, unless y'all caught a body, that's a lot of time to
So
get to a
what's
17-year-old.
they was really trying to give me 42.
Walk me through it.
So basically, things coming at 18 years old in the county. Basically, he got me in some type of hole and my shoulder dislocated. Broke into this pawn shop in the mountains, and we take all the guns we could fit in these backpacks. Oh, he didn't punch him in the face because he told he hit him in the face. He really meant he stabbed him in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh.
You come out. Do you think you came out a better person?
Uh,
Up all over California. You got locked up here, locked up there. How in the hell do you end up on Steve Wilkos? But you recently was on TV again with season 8 of 60 Days In.
yeah.